Well, thank you, Ambassador Schaefer, for your kind words of introduction. For a moment there, I forgot you were talking about me. Mr. Milstein, thank you for your graciousness and generosity as the evening's dinner host. To all the officers of Tanenbaum Center for Interreligious Understanding, especially Dr. Georgette Bennett, as well as Mr. Robert Heller and Ms. Joyce Dubinsky. I not only thank you, but congratulate you on the important work that you carry on. It was your emissary, Mr. Henry Humphrey, who first spoke to me about this annual event and invited me to attend last year. Thank you, Henry, for being a good friend and a good living connection. I would like to add my word of congratulation to my co-honorees this evening, Gwen and Maz, as it is good to be in your company. It is an honor for us to be associated with Rabbi Tanenbaum. He was a towering figure among bridge builders. I'm therefore deeply honored to have been chosen for this award that bears his name, and I'm delighted to have been asked to deliver the memorial lecture in this august and friendly assembly. To tell you the truth, when I was asked to participate in this evening annual award ceremony, I was reminded of a pleasant story I would like to share with you. Every year, right before Easter, the Chief Rabbi of Rome visits the Pope at the Vatican and presents him with an ancient envelope. The Pope takes it, shakes his head, and hands it back to the rabbi, who goes on his way. This custom had been going on for about 2,000 years and was little known by others. It so happened that one year there was a new Pope and a new rabbi. When the chief rabbi presented the Pope the envelope, as his predecessor had instructed him, the Pope, as usual, looked at it and gave it back to the rabbi. But then the Pope added, "This custom seems strange. I don't understand its significance. What's in the envelope?" And the rabbi replied, "Well, I'm also new. I have no idea. Let's open it and see for ourselves." So the Pope agreed. So together they opened the envelope very carefully and read the slip of paper inside. Guess, the bill for the Last Supper. Well, it's a good example of a religious understanding. Well, whenever I speak of interreligious understanding, I like to recount an ancient Middle Eastern story which unfolded exactly where the three great monotheistic religions sprouted. It tells of a traveler in a desert who at a certain point notices at a distance a horrible and violent monster making its way towards him. Obviously, the traveler is frightened. As the monster gets closer, the traveler, being able to see him clearer, notices that it is not a monster, but a man. An ugly man, but a man nonetheless. Eventually, the traveler sees him better and realizes in the end that the man is not that ugly at all. Finally, when he looks into his eyes, he recognizes that he is his brother. Now, in our day, many of our contemporaries who like to view each other through the lens of their respective religious affiliation happen to meet as in the desert night, where the human silhouette is completely distorted. Muslims look at Christians as described in their history books, but above all, they view and fear the Western secularized world where Christians live going adrift. Christians, on the other hand, fear the Muslims as indisposed to welcome the cultural and juridical values that shape Western societies. Jews and Muslims seem to be stuck in a pessimistic vision of their mutual relations and almost unable to diffuse the heavy and painful impact of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Christian, Hindus, and Muslims clash at times quite violently over their different views and understandings of relations and service to different segments of society. In the early 90s, the American writer Samuel Huntington challenged the international community with his provocative essay on the clash of civilizations. He was not alone in anticipating and describing the epochal problems stemming from a worldwide cultural confrontation among different cultures and religions. He was particularly thought-provoking with his clear-cut projection of a clash of civilizations. In the meantime, in 1995, the United Nations launched the Year of Tolerance, setting the tone at the international level. States must adopt the international standards for human rights, and they must ban and punish hate crimes and discrimination. However, tolerance soon proved to be insufficient as a principle to govern relations among human beings, mostly because we have lost the notion and the sense of what is right and wrong, what is good and bad. In this context, tolerance has quickly become a synonym of permissiveness and a critical openness to diversity. It has become a selective tool to approach our daily life. Our criteria for tolerance depend on what the politically correct dictate or on our personal prejudices.